Morning, my name is Maggie and I'm an artist from the south coast of England, and trust me, I've been painting quite a few years. I thought because of this darn self-isolating and lockdowns that people were going to be in the home desperately pulling at their hair to try and think of something to do. And I thought I'd set you the challenge of starting to learn to draw. I'm going to go along at quite a fast rate. I'd love you to join in. If you'd like to send me what you've done, we can get a nice little group going. I had a nice little group going on Instagram Live, but unfortunately the poor system crashed with too many people on it, which, let's face it, is the way things have been going lately. So let's get you started. I've got a nice project for you this morning. This is my untidy bit where I move my camera. Bear with me. So come around here, come down there to my workstation. There we go. There we are. Right, now I'd love you to follow along. You don't need an awful lot of stuff if you just want to pause the recording for a moment while you go and fetch what you need. So we're in lockdown. We've not got fancy equipment. I'm starting you off with a piece of printer paper, whatever pencil you can find. I've chosen to show you that it's quite possible with the most tattiest, cheapest pencil ever known to man, and a ruler if you have one, or some hard surface that you can draw a line with a little later. Okay, so I'm going to start you off with the simplest of things. If you haven't drawn in ages and ages and ages, or you are literally starting today, I just want you to draw lines. Now, I'm 60 odd years of age and I've been drawing all my life, and look, I can't even draw a straight line. Nobody draws a straight line unless they're an architect or something like that. But this whole exercise is more to do with feeling how the pencil feels. How does it feel? What kind of marks does it make? Straight lines. From your straight lines, I want you to draw a circle. Don't get hung up over this. Some people's circles are this shape, or they don't meet. None of these things are important. I just want you to get the idea of going round, round. Small ones, we're going to need small ones later. Oval ones, we're going to need oval ones later. Lots of just mark making. Lots of circles. Once you've done those, I'm going to be real mean and say, can you do a square? Again, I'm not looking for perfect angles. I'm not looking for straight lines. I'm just looking at you, concentrating on trying to draw a square. Slightly longer squares. We're going to need slightly longer squares. So slightly longer squares. There we go. This lesson is going to take you from this first mark making to something, hopefully, that is recognisable, and the beginning of all manner of artwork. So we're just doing squares. Next one, I want you to do triangles. Again, I'm not looking for perfect angles. I'm just looking for triangles. Draw your triangles. I think that one's way, way, way off. So, circles, lines, squares, and triangles. Lines, circles, squares, triangles. Triangles, circles, squares, lines. Just mark making, finding out what your pencil will do. Not certain what that is then. Right, at this point, I'm going to move you on quite swiftly, because I don't want you to be thinking too hard on any of these things. You can overthink things. Somebody asked me the other day, my neighbour, she said to me, she can't do a perfect circle. Nobody does a perfect circle. And she said, well, how do you draw a circle? And I said, I'd stop trying. I'm sorry, but I did. I just stopped trying, and eventually you'll end up with something in that mess that is fairly circular. Right, so at this point, I'm going to move you on to a massive challenge for your first drawing lesson. I'm going to flip my page over and introduce you to Joe. Now, Joe and I have been teaching this lesson for a very long time together, probably about 4 months or so. He's a model. He is modelling this rather horrible white suit. What made me laugh about him was he's got black shoes on, because I don't like that personally, but then that's just me. He's off the internet. I went on a catalogue on the internet. I chose a chap that was facing forward with his face square, his shoulders fairly square on, so he's looking directly at you, his hands quietly at his side, and his feet as close together. When I say close together, I don't mean close, I mean roughly on the same line. These posy men will pose all over the place, bless their hearts, but this chap I found was fairly square. So your challenge is to find a chap on the internet who you can print off and stick, like I have, on a piece of paper. Now I'm going to go through the exercise even though you haven't got your chap ready, because once you've stuck him on the piece of paper, I want you to draw some lines on him. Hey, stay square. There's a good chap. Right the way across the piece of paper. Can't see right the way across my piece of paper. Let's move it this way a little bit. Right the way across the piece of paper. The very top of his head. Under his chin. Try and keep them as straight as possible. By the time you get up here, you've got the same distance. But this is an exercise. It's not important. Now, you can't quite see because this is white on white, but his shoulders come to about here. Now, taking that point of his shoulder just there, draw another line along there. Come down here, try and find his elbows. You can see I've marked this before. And put a line through his elbows. Down here to his wrists, which also, by sheer coincidence, crosses across a rather personal part of his. Excuse me, Joe. And then bottom of his hands. You see one's hands slightly longer than the other. Did you know we all have that? There we go. Across that way. Then trying to find his middle point of his knee. I'm taking it to be about there. Another line across here. Through his ankles. Excuse me while I cough. I'll cough away from you, but trust me, it is hay fever, not anything nastier. And then finding the point at the end of his toes, put another line across there. There is another line which we will deal with later, but for now, this is what I want you to do, just these. Then going back to our basic shapes, you can just carry on and follow this without your model up. But if you follow the basic shape, you have the elongated circle I mentioned. You have your first triangle. You have your elongated square. Now cutting across the middle of this one, you have a circle, and then at the bottom of that circle you have another triangle. You see how we're building them up. From there we're going to come back to his shoulders and do two of your little circles, and then we move to your straight lines. So a straight line down to the elbow point, a straight line down to the wrist, and a triangle here for the hand. Same side from the shoulder to the elbow, from the elbow to the wrist, and a triangle. Now about halfway along this part, which represents a chap's pelvis, you're going to put in his hips. Now the thighs are incredibly long. We always think the legs start from here, but in fact the thigh starts much further up. It's a great big long thigh. We know this measurement is correct because we got him sat here. To his knee, down to his ankle, and another triangle for his toes. So we do this again, long thigh, to his knee, his shin, his ankle, and his foot. And just come with me again and we do this again. I know you haven't got the model yet, but just follow along on your sheet of paper. A circle, a triangle, a square, a circle, another triangle. Look, see, not very good triangles. Points for his hips, points for his shoulders. Come down his arm, to his elbow, to his wrist, to his hand, down his long thigh, to his knee, to his ankle, to his foot. Now, those of you that are artists will know this actual angle wouldn't be quite correct, but if he was to go, no, there you go, we've got our first little bit of drawing. He's got his arm around his friend. Okay, so now what I would like you to do is when you've got your person stuck on your piece of paper and you've got your lines across, I'd like you to continue across half a dozen times or more if you can fit them in. Fit in your people. Get them all fitted in here. I'm getting real quick now. Until you're quite happy that you've got these shapes. And then we move on to your huge challenge. If you have never drawn before, this might seem incredibly daunting. But trust me, it's just a piece of paper. It's just a pencil. You can screw it up and throw it away. But it's good fun. So let's have a go. So we're going to this time put in everything very, very lightly. Just so you can just see it, no more. Put in your triangle here, your square. Put in your circle, which crosses across that line there. And at the bottom of it, put in another triangle. Bring in your points here for the one hand and your hips. Like this. Now this hand, we're going to try something a little bit experimental and hope you can keep up with it. We're going to come down to this line. Put in the elbow, we're going to come back up to this line, put in the wrist and say hi. Okay, so now we're going to fill in our little chap. Here comes Joe too. So we're going to start by only drawing the bottom 3/4 of this. This is just going to be a little cartoon character. It's not going to be very hard. Using this line, we're going to come out to the point of the shoulder and we're going to go past it a little way, just a little way past it, and come out round that other line. And we've given him a sleeve. It's very basic, it's very straight, it's a little boring, but you know, we'll get there. Come down, missing all this, to about the hip height, come across and back up. There, he's beginning to get a jumper. Across this line, I'm going to halt it there, and you'll see why in just a moment. I'm going to come out round his elbow, up to here, across, and then coming back to here, I'm going to bypass it a little. And now you can see this part of his arm is in front of this part. Going to give him a neckline. He's got his cuffs. For his hand here, we're going to come out past his wrist, up to his thumb, and be as simple as that. Just take out part of that triangle. Do it again down here. So you come down, take out part of the triangle. It's not fantastic, but for now, it's going to do us. Now for his trousers, you come down the same line as the outside of the jumper, outside of this line that you've put in for his leg. Give him some decent length trousers and come back up, bearing in mind that we don't want to stop his blood supply. Stop about here, that's fine. And then come down this leg and back up. For his foot, you're going to extend or widen that little bit of the triangle and give him a little foot. He's very, very basic at this stage. Up here, we're going to give him a little bit of hair. He's no hippie. We'll keep his hair short, but you can do what you like. And it's just a little bit of shading, just a little bit like that, nothing more. We can use that same kind of shading to come down his arm and across his body. And you can play with this as much or as little as you like. What I'm now doing is putting in what's called a little bit of cross hatching. So you've gone this way, and you go this way, and then you come this way, and that way. And by the time you finish this piece in the middle, you'll be quite well covered. So a little bit of cross hatching here, just to fill in this jumper a little bit. Now he's got incredibly skinny arms and a very wide body, but we might correct some of this later. If he's wearing jeans, I'll give him a little bit more colour here. Doesn't have to be much. I'm going to show you just something very interesting with pencil, is using your finger. If you smudge it, you'll get a nice even shading. See that? You lose an awful lot of those funny little marks that we put in. At this point, I'm going to show you this other line. When you look at a human being, the head, from the tip of the head to under the chin, you'll find the eyes are roughly in the halfway point. So if you draw a separate line across that middle point to your chap over here, you will have a perfect position to put some eyes in. If you want to start drawing, I'll be doing lessons in eyes later, but for today, let's keep it nice and simple. 2 little eyes, a smile, and then some eyebrows. With those shoulders, he needs eyebrows. I'm just going to show how you can alter this a little bit. So this arm doesn't actually come out like this. So if you were drawing it with a bit more skill, you'd come in here and shade under there. Okay. You can shade under this bit a little bit more. Okay. Give him a bit of shape if you want to. Come down the legs. Show a bit of definition at his knees. Talking too much. He's wearing jeans. I've decided he's not in the posh suit, he's in jeans, so give him some pockets. Give him that line of stitching. And forget it bends at the knees. He really hasn't got very good shoulders, but he'll be fine. Not a very pinhead for the width of his shoulders. Poor Joe. So Joe says, hi! Now, if you have never drawn before and you've come to this stage, you're going to be quite happy with Joe too. He's not a bad looking chap. He's got broad shoulders. He's got nice legs. Got nice shoes. I like his shoes. And a bit of a wooden smile, but he's lovely. So this is our lesson for today. I'm just going to recap for you. You start off by drawing lines. Just get used to what the pencil feels like. Draw some lines. Draw some circles. Draw some squares. Just get used to how it feels. You see, I'm getting further and further away from the end of my pencil. If you want to do it right down here, and very tiny and very neat and very precise, I don't mind. It's your drawing. I want you to enjoy it. Just do it the way you want to do. Then do some triangles. Get nice and happy with this. Do your triangles, do your circles, do your lines. Do any kind of exercise you like that makes you feel comfortable with your pencil. Then pop on the internet and print off. If you haven't got internet, oh, you will do because you're watching this. Yeah, that's okay. I was just going to say, you haven't got the internet. No. Okay. No one said I was a clever person, I just said I could draw. So pop on the internet and print off a chap who is looking fairly straight at you. If you can't find one, email me and I'll send you Joe. Stick him on a piece of paper. Draw your lines. Top of the head, under the chin, point of the shoulder, point of the elbows, point of the wrists, bottom of the hand, his knees, his ankles and his toes. And then start off with your triangle. Sorry, excuse me, that's a circle. In fact, it's an oval because it's an elongated one. So your oval, your triangle, your square, your circle, which transcends that line there, and the triangle that fits on the bottom. So these two fit on here. From there, you put in your shoulder points, 2 little circles, your elbow points and your knees, your wrists and your those are ankles, joining up down the line. We know these are the right lengths because we've got our model measured out here. Triangles for the hands and the feet. Go across the page until you're really comfortable with what you're doing, and then your final attempt is to do it very, very lightly. If I were you, I'd be very, very wary of what I've done here, and remember, it makes certain the head looks a bit better sized. The shoulders aren't maybe quite so wide as I gave this poor chap. It's a bit of a pinhead, isn't he? So very, very lightly put your same shapes: circle, triangle, square, circle, triangle, little circles and lines. Put it on here, but very, very lightly. Then only 3/4 of the oval is penciled in. And then you start by coming outside your lines of your frame, bearing in mind this is what we're calling your frame, outside your frame, and give them a jumper. If you can do it, if you come down this line here, bear in mind that that will give you the appearance. That is, in fact, this part is in front of this part. Up to here, give him a neckline, come to his hands, take a corner out of the triangles, come down, do his trousers, around his feet, widening up the ankles so he looks like he's got shoes on, then coming back to the face, give him a bit of hair, give him some eyes. Oh, sorry, forgot that. Bring him back across here. Draw another line through the eyes to give you the point at which to pop his little beady eyes on. Give him a smile and some eyebrows. And if you want to shade him in, bearing in mind that if you add a little bit of shading in under there, it will make the sleeves look a little more real. Add some details in if you like I put in pockets and the seams. Give him some shoelaces. Maybe he's got something written on his t-shirt. And you've got him done. I would really, really love to see what you've done. I know that the group that are were following me on Instagram will come and look at this and say, I've done this before. But I'd still really love to see what you've done. And then what I'd really like is if you could either post your work on Instagram. Do you like my high-tech titles? I really like these. I could do it on YouTube, but I've got them done now. So pop it onto your Instagram account if you have one, and tag it Maggie's Art Class, or you can direct message me on Instagram. You need to find me first, and I'm Maggie Dragons Art Studio. Yeah, that's what that is, Dragons Art Studio. That's the name of my company. And if you don't have Instagram, I still want to see what you've done. If you don't mind, would you like to email me? You can email me at Lindsay@DAS. Lindsay's my middle name, and the DAS there is obviously Dragons Art Studio. So Lindsay@dragonsartstudio@gmail.com. So I'll leave those just about there so you can see them. If I bring that one down, there we go. And so to get to the last little bit, thank you so much for watching. It's been lovely to have you along. I'd really love to see what you've done. Please, 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 if you've liked the video, give it the thumbs up below, and thank you. I'll post another one in the next couple of days. So if you follow me also, or you got to subscribe, haven't you? Then you'll be able to see when they come up. If you've really enjoyed it, let me know. And as I say, pop it either on your Instagram if you've got one, or send it to me at lindsay@das@gmail.com. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon. Take care now. Bye.